Hello everyone, this is Javelin at English Tutor Hub. Learn English fast. Today we are doing a full tutorial on grammar lesson about when to use the word much and many, countable and uncountable nouns. We will look at the most common situations of when we use these two words. So let's start. The teacher presents a short conversation about husband and wife talking what they need and have the students listen. I am going to the supermarket. What do we need? Buy sugar, please. Also, we need potatoes. Buy 2 kilograms. What about some fruit? Sure, buy oranges and bananas. Anything else? I want a cake from the cake shop. Chocolate cake? Yes, also coffee. That's all. Okay. Move on guys to the comprehension check and have the students answer the questions. What do the husband and wife need from the supermarket? Who is going shopping? How much sugar will the husband buy? How many tomatoes will he buy? What kind of cake does the wife like? How many oranges will the husband buy? After guys, the comprehension questions, have the students read the words below and circle the food that we can count. Coffee, tomato, cake, bread, rice, sandwich, pizza, orange, tea, cheese, potato, chocolate. And then guys, let us look some situations about quantity. Questions about quantity. I have here 3 questions guys about quantity. Number 1, how many oranges are there? How many watermelons are there? How many pears are there? So guys, the first thing I can say is that all of these nouns are countable nouns. Oranges, watermelons, pears. So guys, a countable noun is a separate object that we can count, and it can only exist as a singular or plural. So it can exist on both singular or the plural. So if we want to ask the question about quantity using countable nouns, then we use the expression how many. The noun, example here by oranges, the noun must go in the plural form, and also the verb goes in the plural form. So here we have the noun in the plural with an S, and the verb which is are. This is the verb to be, and this is the third person plural. Okay? And it is the same here. How many watermelons are there? We have the noun in the plural. We use the expression, look here guys, we use the expression how many, and the verb is in the plural form. And the same here, we use the expression how many because the noun is in the plural form as well as the verb is also in the plural form, are. There you go guys. So, how many oranges are there? How many watermelons are there? How many pears are there? Again guys, we use the expression how many if the noun is plural that ends in S, and also the verb is in the plural form, which is are. So guys, rule number 1, for many. We use many in questions about quantity with countable nouns in the plural. Moving on guys. Number 2, questions about quantity. How much water is there? How much coffee is there? How much milk is there? So guys, notice that we have a noun here which is an uncountable nouns, water, coffee, milk. We cannot count uncountable nouns. Again, we cannot count uncountable nouns. They are not separate objects and they are always in the singular. Example there guys. Water, coffee, milk. Notice they're always in the singular. Again, water, coffee, milk. And so, when we are using questions about quantity with uncountable nouns, then this time we use the expression how much. Alright? We don't say how many. Okay guys? Example here again. How much water is there? How much coffee is there? How much milk is there? Again, we use the expression how much. We don't say how many, but how much. And the noun, because it is an uncountable noun. The noun is singular and the verb is the third person singular of the verb to be. How much water is there? How much coffee is there? How much milk is there? Yes guys. So rule number 1 for much. We use much in questions about quantity with uncountable nouns. Moving on guys. Now let's move on to describing a small quantity. So again, These are examples of countable nouns describing a small quantity. There aren't many onions. There aren't many apples. There aren't many bananas. So again, guys, these are examples of countable nouns, and if you look at each sentence, you can see that these are all negative sentences. There aren't many onions. There aren't many apples. There aren't many bananas. Look here, guys. Aren't is a contracted form of are not. So they are all negative sentences to describe a small quantity, and we use the word many in this situation. The noun is in the plural, so we put the countable noun in the plural form, and the verb, which is are, is in the plural form. This is the third person plural of the verb to be, and this is obviously in the negative form because we add not after the verb to be are. Okay, guys? And this is the same here. There aren't many tomatoes. There aren't many apples. Apples here, guys, is a countable noun, which is in the plural form, and also the verb is also in the plural form, and we add not after the verb are because this is a negative sentence. So to make the sentence negative, again, we have to add not after are. There aren't many apples. Yes? And this is also the same here in the third sentence. The third sentence, guys. There aren't many bananas. So we use the expression many. Yes. So this is the second situation here, guys, where we use the second situation where we use the word many. So guys, again, many, rule number 2 for many. We use many in negative sentences to describe a small quantity with countable nouns in the plural. Again, we use many in negative sentences to describe a small quantity with countable nouns in the plural. I repeat here, guys. There aren't many onions. So onions here we have only 2. So in small quantity we use many to describe a small quantity with a countable noun. And the countable noun, of course, is in the plural form. And the verb to be is also in the plural form are. Plus not added after the verb to be are to make the sentence negative. Okay? So, there aren't many onions. There aren't many apples. There aren't many bananas. Yes, guys. So, in this case, in this situation, we use the word many. Again, I'll repeat. Rule number 2, we use many in negative sentences to describe a small quantity with countable nouns in the plural. Next, describing a small quantity using uncountable nouns. Again, now let's look at more on describing a small quantity. There isn't much sugar. There isn't much tea. There isn't much flour. And this time, they are all uncountable nouns. And obviously, as we said before, okay, they are all uncountable nouns. Sugar, tea, flour. Again, guys, obviously, as we said before, that uncountable nouns are always in the singular. And again, they are all negative sentences. Why negative? Because there is not added after the singular verb to be is. There isn't much sugar. There is not, or there isn't much tea. There is not, or there isn't much flour. Again, these are all negative sentences. This is a contracted form of is not, so isn't. And they are all in negative sentences. Again, there isn't much sugar. There isn't much tea. There isn't much flour. And so, when we are describing a small quantity of uncountable nouns in a negative sentence, then we use the word much. There isn't much sugar. There isn't much tea. There isn't much flour. We use the word much, and since uncountable nouns are always singular, guys, sugar, tea, flour. Again, take note that uncountable nouns is always singular. So, the verb to be is also in a singular form. This is the third person singular of the verb to be. Again guys. Again. Since uncountable nouns are always singular, sugar, tea, flour, the verb is always in the singular. Is. This is the third person singular of the verb to be. And the second situation where we use the verb, this is This is our second situation, guys. Again, and this is the second situation where we use the word much. There isn't much sugar. There isn't much tea. There isn't much flour. Okay, so rule number 2 for the use of the word much. We use much in negative sentences to describe a small quantity with uncountable nouns. Alright? So, moving on, guys. Let's move on to describing a large quantity. Here you go, guys. Example, there are a lot of mangoes. There is a lot of cheese. Take note, guys. Do not use the word much. There are a lot of mangoes. Do not use the word much when we are using positive sentences. Again, when we are using positive sentences, guys, for describing large quantity, do not use the word much when we are using positive sentence to describe a large quantity. We do not use many or much in positive sentences to describe a large quantity. We prefer to use a lot of. There are a lot of mangoes. There is a lot of cheese. For an uncountable noun, we don't use much. We don't use many for countable nouns if we are describing a large quantity. Although, guys, when we say there are many mangoes, also this is also slightly correct, but in the English language, this is wrong. We usually use there are a lot of mangoes if we are describing a large quantity. That is for the countable noun. And for an uncountable noun, we use there is a lot of cheese. Is only here because it is uncountable. Our noun here is singular, but the same, guys. We use a lot of. There are a lot of mangoes. There is a lot of cheese. Although when we say there is much cheese, this is slightly correct, but in English we don't use this. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is correct. This is correct. There are a lot of mangoes. There is a lot of cheese. Yes, for countable nouns, uncountable nouns. So, again, when we describe a large quantity, we use the expression a lot of for countable nouns, a lot of for uncountable nouns, or you can say also lots of. Okay? So here, guys, we do not use many or much in positive sentences to describe a large quantity. We use a lot of or lots of. Moving on, guys, to practice. So, number 1, look at the answer in brackets. Complete the question. use much or many. For example, how much sugar do you need? Half a kilo. So here guys, you have here the answers inside the parentheses. How many oranges are there? There are 20 oranges. How much sugar do we need? We don't need any sugar. How many potatoes did you buy? About 10. How much rice is there? Not much. How many apples are there in your basket? 7. How much bread do you eat? Oh, I eat a lot of bread. Okay, guys. So F here, exercise F, pair work. Very pair work. Have the students pick a partner and do the conversation. And then move on guys to your evaluation. Have the students underline the correct word. For example, I don't have much apples. So you have here the noun, plural noun. You have to use many because apples is a countable noun. So you have to use many. We don't have that much potatoes. Underline many. I bought so much sugar yesterday. So sugar is an uncountable noun. Underline much. How much tomatoes are there in the basket? Tomatoes is a countable noun. Underline much. Underline many. How much rice did you buy? So rice is an uncountable noun. Underline much. There is too much coffee in the cup. Coffee is an uncountable noun, so there is too much coffee in the cup. So for homework guys, it's writing activity. You are going shopping. Make a list of the things you need to buy and how many of each thing you need. Report to the class. For example, I want to buy 2 apples and some tea. So guys, move on to practice exercise number 1. Write much or many on the blank for each number. So here, many cars, many pictures, much milk, much money, many girls, many music, many flowers, much numbers, much tea, many pencils. So guys, here look at the answers, write questions. For example, I'd like some sugar, please. What would you like? So here, I want 4 oranges. No, we don't have much coffee. I eat 2 apples every day. She wants to buy 1 kilo of rice. I have 3 bananas. He wants 2 sandwiches. So there you go guys. You've just watched, finished watching a complete tutorial when to use the words much and many. Hope you enjoy. Please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, share, and let me know your thoughts and questions. Love to hear from you. Thank you very much.